And welcome back to night 2 of the Fayette County Candidates Forum on Connersville City TV Channel 3. I'm Darrell Smith, Connersville News Examiner reporter, and I'll be serving as the moderator tonight. Last night we heard from candidates seeking your votes for Fayette County Superior Court Judge, Fayette County Prosecutor, Auditor, and Recorder. And tonight we're going to hear from candidates also seeking your vote from the sheriffs, to-be sheriff, for District 1 Commissioner, Districts 1, 3, and 4 County Council, and District 4 Fayette County School Corporation School Board. Election Day is November 4th. However, voters may start casting their ballots on October the 7th in their early voting. That will take place at the Fayette County Government Center Conference Room B, and that will continue through just before Election Day, including there will be 2 Saturdays prior to Election Day. Final day to register to vote is October 6th, so you need to get that done if you want to make sure you can vote in the November 4th election. For questions concerning the election, that would include places like things like polling locations, your district boundaries, or even seeking an absentee ballot. Those can be done through the county clerk's office at 825-1813. Clerk of Court Melinda Gettinger-Sudoff is seeking re-election. However, she is unopposed. And other candidates unopposed will be County Assessor Kathy L. Rhodes, County Surveyor Warren Sudoff, County Council District 2 Dale Strong, and Fayette County School Board District 3, where Chris Hunt and Warren Taylor are unopposed in that election where you vote for 2 candidates. Well, turning our attention to tonight, we have the Fayette County Sheriff candidates. We have Republican Jim Free and Democrat Joey Laughlin. They won their respective races this spring in the primary, and so now they've turned their attention to see one of these 2 gentlemen will replace current Sheriff Billy Wason, who has served 2 terms and by state law cannot run again. So guys, tell us a little bit about yourself. And last night I went with the person who showed up first, so that's you, Joey.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Joey Laughlin. I'm a lifelong Fayette County resident. I'm the son of Joe and Linda Laughlin. Both my parents worked at Den Manufacturing for several years. My mom went on to work at Stant. My dad went on to sell cars at Scripture Chevrolet, Gross Auto, and Advantage Ford. Sadly, I lost my dad in December of 2012 after a battle with cancer. My wife Amanda and I have been married for 7 years. We have 3 beautiful children, Shayna, Jacob, and Eli. My wife is a nurse at Rush Memorial Hospital in the ER. I am a 14-year member of the Fayette County Sheriff's Department. I was hired in 2000 as a jail officer. I was promoted to the Road Division in 2002. I was moved into the Drug Division in 2007. And I currently serve as a criminal detective for the Sheriff's Department, and I've been in that position since August of 2012. I am, well, as of midnight tonight, I will be ending my 1-year term as the president of our local Kiwanis Club. I am the vice president of the Fayette County Drug Abuse Prevention Coalition, that's a mouthful. And I also have been active in Fayette County schools in the last 5 years in teaching the program Schools Rock and Project Alert. These programs teach the students about peer pressure and substance abuse, and I take great pride in what I've done in that. And I'm seeking this office because I believe I have the experience and the dedication to serve the citizens of Fayette County and the Sheriff's Department for the next 4 years.
Thank you. Jim.
Jim Free, your Republican candidate for sheriff. My wife Paula and I have been lifelong residents of Fayette County except for the 4 years that I was in the Navy. For the past 21 years, Paula has been the Guidance Department Secretary at CHS, and 17 years before that, she worked banking here locally. We've been married for 37 years, and we have 2 daughters, Katie and Ben Rowland, where Katie is a registered nurse and will start her nurse practitioner's classes in November. Casey and Ian Weber, where Casey is a certified occupational therapist assistant. We are members of the Glenwood United Methodist Church, where we serve as communion stewards, church historians, and I am the head usher. I graduated from Connersville High School, where I was a 3-sport athlete. Played 4 years of varsity baseball, where we won 3 sectionals, 1 regional, and I was all conference my senior year. 2 years of varsity football, where I led our team to 2 consecutive seasons as quarterback, and I was also all conference my senior year. Played 3 years of varsity basketball, where we won 3 sectionals, 2 regionals, a semi-state, and a state championship. I was a member of the 1972 state championship basketball team. I was honored by the Indiana Hoosier Basketball magazine my senior year as being named their mini Mr. Basketball, which is the best player in the state, 5'11" or under. My senior year, I was also voted the most outstanding senior athlete from CHS. 1976, I enlisted in the United States Navy, where I served as a gunner's mate on 2 tin-can destroyers. Last year and a half of my career with the Navy, I supervised 15 sailors on the maintenance and operation of 2 5-inch 38 gun mounts and the storage of the ammunition. I was also in charge of the small arms locker, which housed M60 machine guns, rifles, shotguns, and small arms. Whenever the ship's crew needed qualified in small arms, I was a firing range instructor. I was also used as shore patrol when needed when the ship was in different ports. During general quarters, my duty is to meet the captain on the bridge with my rifle and sidearm and be by his side until general quarters was secured. I was an expert in the 38 caliber revolver, was awarded the National Battle Efficiency E Award for Excellence and the National Defense Service Medal. I was honorably discharged in 1980. Upon coming back to Fayette County, I served as a deputy sheriff for 2 years, completing the jail officer training school, drug and narcotic investigation, and I'm a graduate of the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. February 2012, I retired from the post office with 31 and a half years of service with the federal government. Upon retiring, my wife and I took my father, who was in a nursing home, to our house, and we cared for him until he passed away. The last 6 years of my service with the post office, I was president of the National Association of Letter Carriers. For 7 years now, I've been the organizer for the annual NALC Postal Service Food Drive. In 1996, I was elected to the Fayette County School Board, where I served on the committees to negotiate the contract with the maintenance department and also the committee to update the Fayette County school policy. I hold an federal amateur radio license. I'm NIMS qualified, which is NIM, National Incident Management System. I've taken several courses through Homeland Security. I'm active with the local Emergency Management Association, and I am a member of the local Emergency Planning Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Well, getting into the questions now, it'll be your turn to go first, Jim. We've seen a rash of drug overdoses, particularly in the past few weeks, and I know there have been even a few deaths as a result. What is the cause, and how can your department, if elected, aid in reducing the drug problem throughout the county?
I know the department now, they've been, the Sheriff's Department, State Police, and the City Police have been working diligently to, corral the drug problem. The only thing I think we can do is just get more education out there to the children and just warn them of the dangers of this. And drugs have been around. They've been problems way back since the early 1900s. In my opinion, they're going to be here no matter what. As long as somebody can make a dollar bill off of selling a drug, they're going to do it, and that's all they're after. And the people who are selling it probably don't even use it, but they'll find a way to sell it just to make a dollar. and they don't care if they're ruining people's lives or not. I just think we need to start going after some of the bigger people and trying to find who's bringing it into our county and stopping it that way.
Joey.
Well, Daryl, today in the newspaper there was a great article that I read, and the title of that article was "What Can Be Done?" And that was dealing with the overdoses and our heroin problem that is here. And I shouldn't even say heroin problem. I think at this point it's an epidemic, not only in Fayette County, all over the United States. The past 2 weeks I should say, I've been involved in the execution of 3 search warrants for drug-related activities. As the newspaper reported, one of those search warrants, we had received information from a young man who had overdosed. He gave us his dealer, we acquired a search warrant, and we went inside the residence. Myself and Detective Phillips from the Rough Drug Task Force came inside and found the suspected dealer unconscious and overdosed. That young man, if not for the intervention of law enforcement that day, would have passed away. There's 2 young men that made it. I don't know that they'll change their lives if that was enough, but over the past few weeks, we have lost a few young people in this community. We have lost several in the past months, past years. During my time at the Rough Drug Task Force, we made 255 arrests, myself and my 2 different partners I had from the city police. I was a project director of Rough. I believe that I have an experience with law enforcement and drug activity in this community that is unparalleled. You're not going to correct the problem with just incarceration. You have to look at education, which is what I am doing in our schools now. The school's ROC program is in 3rd grades. Every 3rd grade student in Fayette County receives that program from a police officer. I currently work in Fayette Central and Everton. I did Orange School before it closed. We also, last year, taught every student in 7th grade another program called Project Alert. That program teaches students about what can happen legally, what society thinks of narcotics, and health-wise what can happen to them. Those programs are great. We have to get into the high school as well. Education is at the forefront of our youth. That's what we have to do with our youth. We also have to make programs available. As the sheriff, I've already been in discussions with the chance that I could be elected sheriff with several different organizations about coming in and providing education and treatment programs to our inmates. I've put a lot of those people in jail. Putting them in and doing nothing to help the problem will not fix it. There are some exceptions. I've had several individuals that I've arrested that come up and thank me for what happened. Some of those have turned their lives around, but they are the exception. They are not the rule. We must work on education and treatment with our inmates. And I'm not saying pull back on law enforcement. We are going to fight this problem diligently. I will restructure the Rough Drug Task Force in the first year if elected sheriff, and we will focus on drug interdiction. Stop the drugs before they get into our community. I wrote that grant for 6 years. The Criminal Justice Institute wants that program to be self-funded. There's a pending trial on some property of a drug case that I made that will allow us to fund that program for many years to come if that would work out in our favor. We have to look at several different options with this. I'm a glasses half full type of person. I think as a community we can work together and really eradicate some of the drug problem that we have.
Thank you, Joey. With the number of road officers available, and if I understand correctly, a lot of times at night there's only one officer on the road.
Mm-hmm.
How can we adequately protect the county residents, and is there any way available to put more deputies on the road?
Well, a lot of that's going to depend on the budget and the county council. I think the biggest asset that I have is I've been with the department 14 years. There's not a job in the department that I cannot do and perform and do tonight if need be. I will be a working sheriff. I know a big part of the sheriff's job is administrative, and that's great, but I think my youth is an advantage. I will be out working road shifts. I will be out working drug interdiction. You will see that. that is the best way that we can do that now with the budget crunch that we have. If something would present itself later, I am all in favor of adding deputies. There's a spot in our budget for next year that would allow us, if the council will let us, to hire another deputy. That will free up another officer for either rough or just extra patrol. So really a lot of that's going to be based on what the council allows us to do and if the money is available for them to allow us to do that.
Okay, thank you. Jim?
If elected sheriff, I'll restructure how the deputies are placed. I'd love to have 2 of the evening, 2, all night long, 2 of the evening. I will be a working sheriff also myself during the day. And as Joey was saying, it just all depends on your budget. And if we can get some more deputies out there, that'd be great. But I'm in agreement with having 2 people because you're out there in one deputy by yourself, and that's one of the most dangerous jobs you can have. It's going to take 15 minutes for somebody to, if you need some help out there, you only get one person, it's going to take at least 15 minutes for you to get help, compared to the city where it's only going to take about 2 minutes. And that was one thing that I've been thinking about, and I've been asked that by people, that I will try and get 2 people on like the 3rd shift and 2nd shift. I'll be there during the day to take calls and be a working sheriff also.
Thank you, Jim. You mentioned restructuring, and you did to a certain degree, Joey. So give me your thought process on naming your appointees, because you're going to, if elected, you will, coming from the outside, you will have all the appointments to make, and you on the inside, you're going to have the same process to go through. Give me your thought process on that and how you would go about choosing your chief deputy and the detectives and such.
When elected sheriff, what I plan on doing is riding with every deputy down there, working the jail with all the personnel that work in the jail every shift, and just filling them out, seeing where they come from, and then I'll make my decision on your chief deputy, your jail commander, and I'm just going to work with all of them, ride with them, talk to them, see where they're coming from, and go from there, and then I'll make my decision.
Thank you. Joey?
Well, I believe that's an advantage that I have just from being there, is I do know the people that work there, the personnel. That does not mean that January 1st that all my buddies get the jobs that they want. It is a clean slate. If what we will do is appoint the people to the positions they are best equipped to and that are going to make the sheriff's department run as efficiently as possible. If that means that we have to move people around, that's what we will do. I would like to be elected sheriff to run a good, efficient sheriff's department. The buddy system will not work, and we will work to make sure that the right people are in the right position, and if those people are appointed and they don't work out, we'll move them around.
Thank you, Joey. So now we have one last, you guys have one last chance, and not me, to tell the voters why you should be the next sheriffs. And Joey?
Okay. Like I've previously stated, I'm a 14-year member of the Fayette County Sheriff's Department. I've been dedicated to this community and that department for that time. In our Schools Rock program, we have a lesson that we teach the children about short-term and long-term goals. We teach the children that you have to achieve many short-term goals to achieve a long-term goal. The students are receptive. They understand if they want to grow up to be a doctor or a lawyer, they have to do good in school. They have to keep themselves out of trouble. Well, my long-term goal for quite some time has been to be the next Fayette County Sheriff. I've achieved many short-term goals during that time, becoming a jail officer, learning jail operations, being a road officer, learning how to patrol and interact with our community. As a drug officer, how to combat the drug problem here. As an administrator, I wrote over $200,000 in grants for the Rough Drug Task Force myself personally with no help. And then now as a criminal detective, to know how to work a burglary, a theft, sexual abuse cases, Those short-term goals have led me now to this point, to my long-term goal. During this election, I have changed my long-term goal. This election has been a short-term goal. My short-term goal is to be elected sheriff. My long-term goal is to be a great sheriff. Somebody this community can be proud of, somebody that you can call when you need assistance or help, somebody that is approachable and dedicated to this community and the sheriff's department. Professionally, there would be no greater honor for me to be the next Fayette County Sheriff. I humbly ask for your vote on November 4th. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you, Joey. Jim.
First of all, I'm a God-fearing man, and I'm honest, and I will run the department as conservatively as possible. I will continue the training program for the personnel so they can do their job professionally and safely. Continue educating our children on the dangers of drugs. And just, I'm going to be a working sheriff. I'm going to earn my salary out there because I work for the sheriff worked for the people of Fayette County, and I answer to you and nobody else. And I would appreciate your vote this election because it'd be an honor and a privilege to be your sheriff of Fayette County.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you.
And we will be back in just a few moments with some more candidates seeking your votes this election. And we're back with candidates for Fayette County Commissioner, District 1. Incumbent Barton Barker has chosen not to seek re-election, so we have an open seat. And seeking to fill that position are Democrat Jim Wolf and Republican Leota King. And they're here tonight to introduce themselves to you and answer a few questions as they seek your vote. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Leota, we'll start with you.
My name's Leota King. I'm requesting your vote for Fayette County Commissioner. The Board of Commissioners is the executive branch of county government. My husband is Michael King, a lifelong resident of Connersville. We have 4 children who graduated from CHS. I'm an import, born in Harrison County, Kentucky, and raised in Brownsville. I graduated as valedictorian from my high school class. I'm a charter member of Connersville Baptist Temple. I have taught Sunday school, sang in the choir, currently chair of one of the bereavement committees. When you elect me, you will have the benefit of a great team of prayer warriors praying for our county and the decisions I will make. When my children were in school, I served on the choral boosters, served on the band boosters. I didn't serve on the band boosters, a speech team. I had no children in the band. Sorry about that. I'm a member of the Connersville Rotary Club. I've served as president 2 different terms. I've been assistant district governor for 2 years. I'm the current secretary of the Connersville Club. I'm proud to be a citizen of Fayette County. I would like to have your vote because I feel like I can serve you and work full-time as a commissioner and check on the different things. I am a member right now of the Fayette County Housing Authority Board. I'm a member of Channel TV3 Board. Just been very active in many areas in this community and have served the community as a volunteer. And I would like to work for you full-time. I'm privileged to have parties with many of you in your houses when I was a Stanley dealer. I helped you receive some lovely and useful gifts. I worked at the employment office as an employment specialist, helped several of you get jobs. Just want to help you more. Hope we can do everything we can for this county. I know that there's a lot of problems in Fayette County, and I've had many people as I go out door to door knocking and talking to you, say, why in the world do you want this job? Well, I feel like God called me to apply for this. And I know it'll be a headache. I know there's lots of problems, but I'm willing to work at it. I know that God has given me ability to learn many different things. I'm self-taught computer literate. I'm not an IT tech, but I am literate in it. Facebook savvy. I do accounting. I've used Peachtree, QuickBooks, Quicken. Took care of the books for our subways. Was aware of all the tax forms. Made out lots of W-2s and 940s and 941s. I took care of the books for my son when he owned the bookstore in Rushville, when he operated Office King here in Connersville. So I have a lot of knowledge of financial statuses and such as that. And I just volunteered for so many things, I can't give you a list of all of them. I was really impressed with Jim Free's speech and what all he said. I'm not going into what my children all do. I'm very proud of them. Have 4 children, 11 grandchildren, and 11 great-grandchildren. One of my grandchildren is deceased. But I thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you. Thank TV3 and the News Examiner for putting this together. If you have any questions, you can check with me, private message me on Facebook. I'll be happy to answer your questions, and I'm going to be out knocking on doors. I know that I started too late to get to everybody's door, but I'm going to hit all that I can. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Leota. Jim.
My name is Jim Wolf. I'm running for County Commissioner, District 1. I would like to thank the Cartersville News Examiner, Darrell Smith, Cartersville 3 for hosting this forum, and the viewers for tuning in. I'm a lifelong resident of Fayette County, along with my wife Linda. We have ran Wolf's Gun Shop for 34 years. We have 2 sons and 2 grandchildren. I've been on the County Council for the last 6 years. The reason I'm running for County Council, I would like to see, County Commissioner is to change some things on the Commissioner side. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Jim, you'll be the first to answer the questions.
Yeah.
We received word today that Stant is looking to possibly move its world headquarters out of the city to Michigan. The EDG has little funding for projects to either keep jobs here that are currently here or attract new jobs. And particularly when you compare that, what they have available compared to Wayne, Henry, or other counties, both in-state and out-of-state. Give us your thoughts on economic development and how the county should be doing that vital job, and how are we going to adequately fund that effort when much of the edit fund is not even made available to the EDG.
I was devastated when I heard this today. A while back, the county and the city and EDG gave over $1 million to Stantz. The county gave $450,000. The county does not have the money to, or the city, to give any more money out. I put on the Facebook page of the Cartersville News Examiner today that we'll probably have to get some help for the state. As far as EDG money, it's short. As soon as we get some more jobs, we can funnel some more money to EDG.
Leota.
Well, I didn't know anything about this until Jim shared it with me while we were in the waiting room, and I appreciate him giving me a heads up on this situation and the information that he gave, because he also made the comment that Stant had made an agreement that if they leave before a certain time, that they have to pay that money back. I just breaks my heart, because Stant Manufacturing is one of the original firms, and the people named Stant are Fayette County people, and this company's been here probably over 100 years, and it just, many people that we put to work up there, and we've done lots of different things to try to help them stay. I know the Employment Service had people that they put there and training and on job training contracts, because I helped write those contracts and put those people to work. It's just a real blow to the community, and I don't know, Mr. Parker's going to have his work cut out for him, talking with them and dealing with them and seeing what can come up. Since I was not aware of the original contract, I have no way of knowing, But if they back out of it and they have to pay the money back, it may be one of those wonderful half-full glasses that we might have money to spend to help bring somebody else in that would be a better fit for Connersville. I just have no idea.
Thank you. Now, there has been an effort, I'm not sure how large or small, but I know last summer, maybe spring, there was discussion about moving 911 to a county facility, either to have a separate dispatch for the county or to have just move it all over there. What are your thoughts on 911 and where it should be located, how it should be funded, and what kind of job is it doing? Leota?
911 is a county job. It takes care of the city. One of my complaints when I lived in the city was it seemed to me like the people that were county officials had no idea that Connersville was in Fayette County and was part of the county. I had a real row one time with one of the auditors over my kids' school taxes. My kids walking to school, and the kid that lived a half a block away rode the bus. And they explained as long as they were within that 1 mile limit, they had to walk. And she said, well, you pay school tax. I said, school tax for the city is the same as it is for the county. Why should the county kids ride and the city kids walk? But that's neither here nor there at this time, because now they've got it worked out a little better. But 911 is a valuable service. It's one that we've used in this county, and I feel like it's a necessary situation. And whether they move it to the county offices and they have space available for them, or whether it stays at City Hall, they still have to serve the whole county, and they have to serve the city. And that's one of the assets that Fayette County has and Connersville has that I don't think we need to be losing, because those are the kind of things that help you bring these businesses into town, is when you do have good services and good. The EMS has done a super job, and I personally know how much they've helped individuals in my household. They were there when my father passed away, and they showed up when my mother had her stroke. And those were the only 2 occasions that I ever had to use them. But I know that it's a real godsend to have somebody that knows what they're doing to come to your door.
Jim?
911 is funded by phone usage, both at your house and for your cell phones, and that's the way those people are paid. Moving 911 would cost many thousands of dollars, maybe up to $100,000. We need to keep it where it's at. City and county needs to work out, well, we've got agreement, is work together, keep it there, and I think that some of the employees could use a little bit more training, because I've heard a few complaints, but I don't want to cut anybody's throat on it. You go talk to somebody and get something straightened out. But like I said, moving it would cost the taxpayers too much money.
Well, the Area Planning Commission will soon be considering new rules for construction of satellite manure storage facilities. If you're elected commissioner, that may come up before you. But what are your thoughts about those kind of facilities? What kind of restrictions would you like to see placed on them? And at what point does the right to farm end?
Well, I'm for the farmers, and they need the manure and stuff for fertilizer. But I think they ought to be located at a place where they're not going to bother anybody as far as smell or as far as getting into the groundwater. There's got to be a way this can be worked out, and if I'm elected commissioner, if I'm asked that, I will help, working out a problem. But the farmers, the storage people, and the next door neighbors need to get along, but I wouldn't want one of those within 1,000 feet of my house, and because it could get in your well water.
Thank you. Leota?
I don't have any disagreement with Jim or on any part of that. I feel like the farmers need fertilizer, and I have no problem with that. I think they need to make some kind of regulations where the storage facilities aren't within fragrance distance, would you say, of the next door neighbors. And I think they need to be, so the don't have a problem going into the groundwater. That's definitely a problem. You don't want to be, the one asset, or one of our assets in Fayette County is our huge water table, and we don't want to be having that contaminated with arsenic or anything else.
Thank you. So now you have one last chance to ask the voters for their vote. So Leota, if you would begin.
My name's Leota King. That's spelled Leota-King. You look for me on that ballot box. It's not really a ballot box. Look for my name on the machine and push the right button. I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, give me a call or send me a message on Facebook, because I'm not in the phone directory. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I will serve full-time at this job and work and check with all the department heads and visit anyone that needs to be visited. I'll be happy to talk to you. For it's in Jesus' name I ask you to vote for me.
Thank you. And Jim?
My name is Jim Wolf. I'm asking for your vote for County Commissioner, District 1. Anytime you need to get a hold of me, you can stop in up the gun shop. We'll talk. We do it all the time. Since I've been on the council, when I was on there about the first year, there was a deal that came up in the courthouse. I've talked about this in a couple of speeches, that they needed to put new heating and cooling unit in there because they built the courthouse. 4 years later, nobody knew how to run it. So the commissioners came in, wanted $50,000 to put in new controls, and I said, guys, give me a chance and see if I can find something. So I asked around, and I found out one of the guys that used to work for the company that went out of business, he came down for $900. He taught the employees how to use present controls that was in there, and saved the county almost $49,000. Also, on the highway garage, that's been a big controversy. I thought Darrell would bring it up tonight, but he didn't. When they first came out with the proposal, they wanted to put a 2,000 square foot office in that highway garage. Why? I don't know. My first house was only about 1,000 square feet, so I don't know why they needed a 2,000 square feet office space, but that was done away with. There's been accusations, and well, it's been proven that there have been some secret meetings going on around the county with the commissioners. I promise, if I get elected, there will not be no secret meetings. Everything will be out front. We have some tort claims going on, and the reason we're having tort claims going on is some people I don't think are educated on what they need to do for their jobs. We need to go in there and educate them so we can save the county some money. Some of these tort claims, the insurance is not going to take care of, and there's going to be a big burden on the county. There's been some talk here lately. It's not with the commissioners, but doing away with the volunteer fire departments. I'm for the volunteer fire departments. I'll back them all I can. If they try to get rid of them, I'll be right up in Indianapolis raising Cain. I also back our first aid unit. We do not need to get a private person to come in. We've got a first aid unit there right now serving the citizens of Fayette County. I want to thank you people tonight. Vote for Jim Wolf for County Commissioner, District 1. Thank you.
And those are your candidates for County Commissioner District 1, Leota King and Jim Wolf. And we'll be back in just a moment with candidates for County Council District 1. And we're back with the candidates for Fayette County Council, District 1. And we have Republican incumbent Mike Winta and his challenger Democrat Craig Pennington. So, guys, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself? And I think it's on my right's turn, so Craig, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, thank you, Daryl. I'm Craig Pennington. I'm running for District 1 in the County Council. I'm a lifelong resident here in Fayette County. I'm married to Jackie. We have 2 boys, and Jackie has a daughter, Ashley, and she's a resident of Rush County, so I won't be getting her vote. So I have the 2 boys that keep me very busy, and I've been a police officer now for almost 20 years. I graduated from Connersville High School. I've served in the detective division for about 7 years now. I first started off at the Sheriff's Department, came to the Connersville Police Department. I've worked in narcotics division, and now I'm currently an investigator. Really enjoy that. I go to church at Higher Praise, and I enjoy serving the people of Fayette County. I've served on a lot of different boards and associations. In 2008, I received the service award through the Chamber of Commerce, and that made me realize that sometimes you can even receive an award and feel like that you may be stretching yourself a little thin. And now I've come to a time in my life where I think that I've pared back some of my responsibilities, and now is a time that I can really concentrate on a position for county council and be a decision maker.
Thank you. Mike.
Good evening, Gerald. Thank you for moderating this. I'd like to thank TV3 for hosting this along with the Connersville News Examiner. My name is Mike Wenta, and I'm running for County Council District 1. A little about myself. I moved here in 2000 to marry Kelly Parker, who I think is the most beautiful Parker out of the entire bunch. And I know my brother-in-laws would disagree with me, and rightfully so. They've got some pretty wives as well. I moved down here with my 2 children, Brandon and Amanda Wenta, and we joined forces with Kelly and her 2 boys, Brady and Brandon Bolos. And between us, we have 2 more children, Aiden and Austin Wenta. They keep us busy. They keep us all engaged in a lot of different things, especially our 7-year-old. Prior to coming to Connersville, Indiana, I served a church mission working with the people of Southeast Asia, where I helped them to acclimate themselves to the United States and get used to life here as a United States citizen, or becoming a United States citizen. And that was for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I also served in the Marine Corps and was discharged honorably, where I learned a lot of many valuable attributes and things as such. There's 3 of the things that I learned was to be proactive and not reactive, to have some initiative and to demonstrate initiative, to have integrity. That was one of the things that was demonstrated above and beyond all things, was integrity. I believe I'm a person of integrity, and I display that each and every day. Since coming to Connersville, I've been coaching in various sports, whether it's baseball, t-ball, coach's pitch, girls fast pitch, football at the high school, middle school, and youth levels, basketball. I enjoy coaching. I enjoy the children of this community. I served for 3 years on the Relay for Life as a committee chair, heading that effort up and trying to bring awareness to cancer and the terrible disease that it is. It was through there that I learned what a great community that we have and how similar it was to the community that I came from in southeastern Wisconsin. We have a lot of giving people. I saw people giving even well when they shouldn't be giving, when I knew that it was difficult for them financially and both physically, giving until they couldn't give anymore, and then still trying to give. And it told me that I needed to get involved more in this community because I wanted to help make a difference for not only this community, but for my family and my kids as well. So I ran for election for county council district at large, came up a little bit short in that effort. But 2 years ago, an opening came available for county council district 1, where I was appointed to fill that vacancy. In my first year of filling that vacancy, I did a lot of observation and a lot of learning. And it was there that I encountered my first budget hearing, where I learned about a lot of the budget itself and where different money and funds go to and what they're used to pay for. I also learned that we're paying for things that I didn't think we needed to be paying for. Things that we should be smarter with our dollar with. And in year 2, I acted upon those learnings and those observations that I made. In year 2, I looked at a system that the courts use and the clerk uses for case reporting, for case management. It's called Odyssey. Currently, it's being implemented in the county at this time. It's saving our county $28,000 a year annually. We were paying $28,000 a year between probation and the clerks and the circuit and the Superior Court for this software. Something we really didn't need to be paying. Now, in defense of the other software, the Odyssey was not really up to speed at that point. But I researched it diligently, I kept an eye on it, and when it came to Franklin County in December of this past year, with all the features and functionality that they wanted here, I decided we needed to act on it, and I pushed it, and I convinced not only the commissioners, but the council to act on it. E-tickets was something that the police department and the sheriff's department is benefiting from. This ties in with the Odyssey system as well. Through the research that I did on that as well, we were able to save over $20,000 in equipment costs for that alone. It got the police department laptops, scanners, and printers. They started out with 6 initially, and the sheriff's department started out with 3 scanners and printers. They already had their laptops with them. It's funny that we were going to build the purpose-built vehicle here for the 21st century, yet our own police department and our sheriff's department was struggling with 20th century technology. And I don't say that to be funny, but I just find it a little ironic. Through a little more perseverance and a little bit more calling, I called the state again to find out what was going on, if we could get some more units. The goal of the program was not to outfit every police vehicle with the equipment, but we were able to get 3 more units each for our sheriff's department, fully outfitting their department, and 3 more for the police department, giving them a total of 9. Now, how does that help us? I heard Daryl ask a question earlier tonight, how we can help the sheriff's department and get more people on staff. Well, that's one of the ways we can do it, by finding ways to save money and going after those opportunities where it's not costing us, the taxpayers, or us as a county, using grant money that's out there. And it's keeping our road deputies on patrol much longer. In the past, when they wrote a ticket, they would come off of patrol for about an hour because they had to process their tickets. Now they can write their tickets and they can stay on patrol the whole entire time. The other thing that I did was looking into, and I hate using a lot of I's, but you have to kind of in this forum, is that as a county we were getting ready to purchase a large format printer, costing us over $6,000. If we would have purchased it and we would have owned it, it would have been ours forever. I looked into this and I suggested, with the blessings of the commissioner and our assessor, if there was another option that we could do. And I suggested a lease option, where we ended up doing that, leasing it for 3 years for $2,800, saving us over $3,000. All total savings to the county and the taxpayers is $51,000. In closing, I think I've demonstrated my ability to save money and to be proactive and not reactive. And I would respectfully ask for your vote on November 4th, and thank you.
Okay. Well, the big news of the day was the announcement early this morning that Stant is in negotiations with the state of Michigan to possibly move their world headquarters from Connersville to that state. How does the city of Connersville and Fayette County hope to fund economic development projects, either maintaining existing businesses, helping them to expand, or attracting new businesses and new jobs to the community, when there are little funds, when the edit funds are being used by the county on projects like the jail roof, paving a street, and just general operations? And Mike, you'll go first.
Well, the edit funds aren't being used to repave the jailhouse roof. There's a cum cap fund for the jail that's used for those kinds of projects. But we're in a situation where we're having to rob Peter to pay Paul, unfortunately, because we've lost a lot of our tax base. With the leaving of Vistion, we've lost a big chunk, over 18% of our tax base right there. That's hurt us more than anything. We have to use that edit money just to keep the lights on at the courthouse and the jail. It's not something that we as a council want to do, but it's a necessary thing that we have to do. We understand that it makes it difficult on ventures like this, And not knowing a lot of the particulars about the Stanton situation and not wanting to speak and disrupt anything that may be going on ongoing negotiations, because I know there are ongoing negotiations with Stant to try and keep them here. But there is funding for economic development to go after new businesses. But the thing is, we're financially strapped as a county and as a city. I've talked earlier about how we were able to save some money. We have to do more of these things in order to help our budget out. We want to help our budget out. We want to make more money available for the EDG products. I serve on the EDG board, so I'm aware of what goes on there and where their money is being spent and the efforts that are trying to be made to retain business, and not only retain business, but to attract future businesses as well.
Correct.
I would hope that sooner than later we could get out of the hole that we may have dug using some of that EDG money for utilities. Maybe a more I've experienced some grant writing in my tenure at the police department. I've written grants for equipment. I've written grants for test kits, items that we need to continue to run a police department. Police departments are just like county government. Maybe there is more aggressive seeking of grant funds that we need to take a look at. Maybe just a different look. In my job, I have to be able to look at all sides of a problem, and I can't just yank somebody up and say this is the way it's going to be. I have to stop, think, measure all sides of an issue, and maybe this is a situation where you would have to do that.
Okay. Employees at the county, or at least are on schedule, unless something changes, to receive a pay increase in the coming budget. Those are county employees. Just kind of comment on that, because we know in many cases the county employees are not paid well, and but yet we've talked tonight about how the county doesn't have money. So just kind of talk about that process in a tight budget, how you can come up with raises.
I commend council right now for being able to find the money for those deputies. I do their job, their same job, and for them to be doing the same job I do and not getting a competitive wage, that just wasn't fair. There's good police officers over there, there are good county employees over there, and they weren't getting paid what they should. Now, it starts out with the deputies. I'm glad to see that those guys are finally getting not what they're worth, but we're getting closer. And I hope that we can continue this wave of helping the employees who work for the county, because sometimes I think our citizens think that just because those people are paid with tax money, that they're not also taxpayers. They're taxpayers too. They want to be paid an equitable wage too. They want to be just as competitive as everybody else, and they deserve that. They do good jobs also.
Thank you. Mike?
Well, it's kind of a complicated response. I'll break it down into four chunks. The road deputies of the Sheriff's Department, the 911, the jailers, and the county employees. Now, last year when I sat in on council and I saw what these guys were getting paid, all departments, all four departments, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. We didn't get here overnight. We're not going to fix it overnight. This is going to be a problem that's got to be fixed over time. But the problem is that we have never had a plan in place to address these situations. And I've been a strong advocate of getting our employees a more equitable pay for what they're doing compared to their counterparts in neighboring counties. Because it's quite laughable when, and it's sad to see some of these county employees that you work at the courthouse and other places working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, just to make ends meet. It's not a fun thing. I'm sure it's not a fun thing for them. That's time away from their kids and away from their family that they could be spending with them. These road deputies that are going out each and every night and each and every day that are putting on bulletproof vests for a pitiful $26,000 is crazy. And some of them are on assistance. I find it just, it's sad. It's saddening for this to happen. Denying their kids the opportunities to be able to serve in sports or play in sports because they can't afford it, because they got to make a decision, clothes or sports. I understand everybody has to make these decisions, but I've worn the uniform of a Marine. I understand what it's like to serve and to put your life in harm's way each and every day. I don't do it now, and I'm thankful for what these young men do and these young women do each and every day in defense of our county and our streets and our city streets. But last year we were able to give the full-time employees a $500 pay raise. That doesn't amount to anything. A $500 pay raise isn't even a gallon of milk each week. But it's a step in the right direction, and we're trying to demonstrate we're trying to go in the right direction. We were able to get a much-needed pay raise for the road deputies this year. It's been long overdue. The 911 was able to be done as well because of funding that they received, as Councilman Wolf addressed earlier. Through the funding that they received through 911, through the phone calls and so forth, we feel we can do that for them. We want to do it for everybody. That's our goal. But we have to do it in a phased approach so that we can sustain it, so we don't have to lay people off in the future. There's nothing worse than having to lay somebody off or tell them that you don't have a job anymore and that they can't pay for their kids or buy food for their kids anymore. So these funds that we come up with for pay raises come from examples that I stated earlier. $51,000 saved in the course of 1 year helps fund these types of activities, but they have to be sustainable. We have to be smart about what we do, but we have to make a plan out there, and we do have a plan in place to take care of the rest of the employees over the course of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Could you talk about the funding process that you went through for the county garage, which has been in the news most of the summer and into the fall here? Kind of give us your thoughts on the process. Craig, you'll be doing it from somebody on the outside looking in. Of course, Mike from the inside. And was it right or wrong to not purchase the Lake Innovative property? And give us your thoughts on that. And they've had to cut the size of the project down, I believe. And so will the new garage be enough?
To answer your question, will the new garage be enough? Absolutely not. It was a foolish mistake not to purchase Lake's building. We voted on it. It was a 6-1, 1 in favor, 6 against. I was in favor of it. Why was I in favor? One of my hang-ups with it was the location of it on Fayette Street. I was sympathetic to the people living there, but as a taxpayer and the best use of tax money, it really would have made more sense to buy Fuzzy's building and get more bang for your buck. It was a huge mistake that we didn't take advantage of that. We could have, with the offer that was on the table by Mr. Lakes, we could have purchased the entire building for $575,000. He was willing to let us put half down. He was also willing to let us, with interest, finance it over the course of 2 years. We have a fund that's called the Cum Cap Fund that has a balance of almost $1 million sitting in it at this point, used for this purpose and this purpose only. It cannot be used for pay raises, it cannot be used for personnel, it cannot be used for anything except for building maintenance and new construction of buildings. That gets replenished at the rate of almost $150,000 a year. $150,000 a year. We only had to put half down. That's almost about $283,000 a year for the first payment. That would have left us still $800,000 in that fund. I think it was a terrible mistake not to do that. Now we're going to be faced with a situation where we have to either phase a building in where it costs us more. For an example, to build that same size building, it would have been $37 or $35 a square foot to build that building, ballpark figure, per foot just to build that building as they originally designed it. These 100 by 300 foot length in building. $35 a square foot. To chunk it up or break it down or phase it as they're talking about, that dollar figure goes up to $75 a square foot, more than doubling what we have currently now to spend on that building. So even though you think you're getting half the building for $35 a square foot, you're actually spending $75 a square foot. You're actually paying more. So as a council, these are some of the things where I feel that we've tripped over a dollar trying to save a penny. Yes, we were saving money, but we're truly saving money. In the long run, it's probably going to cost us $200,000 to $300,000 more to build that same garage today. So I think it was a huge mistake.
Thank you, Mike. Craig.
I think in big commitments like that, I think sometimes you have to go and maybe compare to a successful program. I know with the police department, successful programs, we're not inventing the wheel. We've had these issues before. Other counties have had these issues before. Let's go to another county and see how they dealt with their problem. And if it was successful, let's copy it. If they had to build a new building, let's see if they are happy with their decision. If they had to change their desire, if they had to change where they had to position the building. If none of those things work, then let's buy an already existing building. But I think you have to measure, once again, other existing examples. So once you've done that, I think you can make an outstanding decision.
Thank you. Okay, it's time to wrap it up, and so you can have your final thoughts, and Craig, if you would do that, please.
Okay, once again, I'm Craig Pennington. I'm seeking your vote for County Council District 1. I'm excited to have an opportunity to make decisions for our future. I've got kids who are in grade school right now, and I know the decisions we make now aren't going to come to fruition for years down the road. And I want something for my kids to be able to come back to. Right now, I'm not that excited about their near future here, but I want to be excited about their long-term future here. I want them to come back, and I want them for us to be able to continue our lives together here. I'm excited for Fayette County. I love my county, and I'm seeking your vote in November. Thank you.
Mike.
Thank you again, Daryl, for moderating this. And thanks, Craig, for being here. It was good to hear your views and your points on this. And thanks again for TV3 and for the News Examiner for sponsoring this. Like I mentioned earlier, I think I've demonstrated the fact that I'm proactive and I'm not reactive. I get out and I do things. I make things happen. I roll my sleeves up and I get involved in things. I do investigate things. I've talked to surrounding counties about their highway garage. I've talked to surrounding counties about their Odyssey system and e-ticket system. I get involved. I get busy with this. I don't look at it as this is an opportunity to come to one council meeting per month and do my time. I put a lot of extra time in, and I'm proud of the time that I put in. I'm proud of the service that I've rendered this county. And I'm a bit selfish. Like Craig, I have kids too. I'm selfish in the fact that I want my kids to be here. I want them to have choices where they have to make difficult choices, whether to take that job in another state, another county, or whether to remain here. And I feel that I can do everything that I can for them to stay here and to make a difficult decision. I want my grandchildren to be near. I want my kids to be near. Why? Because I love them. And I love this community. I've invested my heart and soul in this community. The one thing that I think that I've demonstrated here through my list of things that I've done is service. I've been serving since I was in my mid-teens. It's something that was instilled into me as a young man. It's by my mother and by my church. I believe in serving, and I believe in giving back to the community. And I would respectfully and humbly ask for your vote this November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike Winter, Republican candidate for County Council District 1, and Craig Pennington, Democratic candidate for that same seat. And we'll be back in just a moment with more candidates. And we're back. I received a call this morning from Fayette County Democratic Party Chairman Tim Rose, and he had just talked with Democratic candidate for Council District 3 candidate Charlene Grugoski, who had informed him that she had to suddenly leave the state, actually, to go to a family emergency in Idaho, I believe it was. And so she could not be here, and was sorry that she could not be here tonight to answer the questions. So we just ask that you remember her in your prayers. We do have an incumbent Republican tonight, Shirley Risch-Wise, and she served on County Council District 3. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Shirley?
Sure. Thank you, Daryl. And thank you also, John, Cable Channel 3, for this opportunity. My name is Shirley Rish Wise. My husband Kevin and I farm full-time here in Fayette and also in Wayne County. We have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. In addition, we co-own a commercial rental property business here in Connersville on Arians Avenue. I have a long-time farm background, and I may have sold you fresh eggs from the Cackle House. I'm a member of St. Gabriel Catholic Parish, and I've served on the Finance Committee for the last 10 years. For the past 5 years, I've been a member of the Fayette County Republican Central Committee. I graduated from Connersville High School and from Ball State University, where I earned my Bachelor of Science degree in Production and Operations Management. For over 25 years, I worked in management positions at Stant, H.H. Robertson, and most recently Vistion. There, we had to balance our budgets and continually improve the process, while at the same time reducing cost. Like many in our audience, my family and I were directly affected as each of these global industries relocated production facilities out of Fayette County. One of the most important lessons learned from this migration of business and industry is that we must change. We must change government policies. We have to figure out how to create an environment in our county and in our state and in our nation that encourages and nurtures business instead of taxing it out of the country. 4 years ago, I ran for office because I believe it's imperative that each one of us must get involved. As U.S. citizens, we have to get involved to literally save the America as we know it, beginning right here in Fayette County. I'm proud of the way Fayette County and Connersville governments can, when they work at it, come together during these difficult times for the benefit of all of the citizens. The lack of solutions on a national level, however, for me, it's appalling. If reelected, I will continue to work to maintain a balanced budget by studying each line item and becoming knowledgeable of how the county spends their tax receipts. I will vote again to reduce spending where necessary because of reduced revenue. It takes a delicate balance to maintain and to continue to improve the infrastructure here in Fayette County. At the same time, you're getting steadily declining funding. It doesn't mean that you simply cut spending, but you have to make smart spending decisions, both for the county and the city. As a member of your county council, I served a year as president. I served as council representative on the Area Plan Commission, the Economic Development Group, Community Corrections Board, and Solid Waste Board. I think it's important to learn as much as we can on about each of those important organizations here in Fayette County. As a member on the Area Plan Commission and a council member, I served on the steering committee for the Fayette County Comprehensive Plan in 2011. I firmly believe in that plan. There was a broad spectrum of people involved in sitting around and talking to each other about the assets that we have here in Fayette County. We have tremendous resources here. Farm ground that's just out of this world, the aquifer for the water, the cleanest in the state, on and on and on. But the people here care. Mike was talking earlier about the Relay for Life. I have served and been on a team and chaired a team since its inception. So many, many years. You can tell how many the people in this community, how they care. I've appreciated the opportunity to serve for you on the county council. I've learned many things, but I think there's still always more we can learn. We have to continue to learn how to be more efficient. We've made some great strides, high-tech software, improvements in the courthouse, improvements for the sheriff's department and the city police as well. We've seen a new phone system. We've seen, again, a security system in the courthouse. None of those things come easily, and many of us resist change. But again, I've appreciated the chance, and I would look forward to serving again as your county council if given the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. So talk, if you will, about the county emergency medical services, or as many people know it, the first aid unit. It's a joint effort between the city and the county. And should it remain public, or should it be put into the hands of a private operator? And talk about the funding, because we know those costs continue to go up too.
The EMS services is just a fantastic organization, and whoever came together years ago to come up with the joint city-county funding, you know, I believe they had the right idea. It has been frustrating as we've seen the cost continue to rise to operate that organization. We've, from a council perspective, been very frustrated by the continued increases in the cost every year. And while we're fortunate to be able to share that increase in expenses with the city, is still very frustrating because the cost of maintaining that service just continues to rise. I think it's extremely important that we continue the service here with the operators, with local people here in town, with a sense of responsibility to the taxpayers. I think that it is important to always look for a better way to do things, and I think we expect the first aid unit to continue to do that. In the last 4 years, I've heard every year about problems we've had with the engine for the recent ambulance, and trying and failing to reach a successful negotiation with the, I don't know what automotive company furnished that vehicle. So again, the taxpayers had to pay the piper on that. I learned recently, and I wonder how in the world, that we have to modify our ambulance to fit in the building, because if we were to purchase a new one, it wouldn't. The building is too small to contain the newly equipped ambulances, and I wonder why in the world. Well, we've had to do that the last 2 or 3 ambulances. Why don't we change the building? You know, there's always several ways of looking at things, but certainly outsourcing is a way that we can maybe save some money, but I'm not certain that we would get the services that we've become accustomed to. I do think we have to continue to look for ways to save money.
Okay, thank you. Well, could you talk about the funding for the highway garage and that process that you went through? Was it right or wrong to not purchase the lake property? And will the new garage that is going to be built, will that be adequate to serve the highway department?
The county highway garage has certainly been a topic for some heated discussion over the last 3 years. It didn't just happen this year. And again, when we talk about lack of money or reduced money to work with in the county, this is one of the bigger frustrations when I see money being, what I think, wasted. Mike, I heard just a portion of his conversation earlier, and he was very involved with helping to provide the facts and the figures to make the decisions about how we could most efficiently put the plans together for the highway garage to be at its existing location and how we could save money. I think we learned early in the process that not everyone on the council agreed with the best way to proceed. Many wanted to see the building repaired again. We're not all engineers on the council, and as such, we have to depend upon professionals who studied and understand what it takes to build a safe building. and what it takes to keep our county employees safe and our county assets in a pristine condition, as much so as you can with a county highway garage. As much as we are frustrated, we're glad that it works the way it does, because a lot of different solutions were proposed. Few people thought that we needed as many square feet. Some people thought that we could just repair the building. Others thought that we could buy an existing building with more space that was literally, you turnkey, you pick up and you move over there. The highway garage would have loved to have had that building, but was it the best building for the highway? I don't think so. Would you want all of that traffic going through a residential area with small children coming out into town that didn't really have the egress and ingress that I think you needed for the highway department? There were some studies run and again recommendations made, and I think there was a feeling that it was pretty much a done deal, that the best cost savings was to put the building over there. I personally felt that was the wrong choice, but when it came right down to it, we had a vote, and the vote was to not put it over there for all of the conditions that have been cited. So then several of the council members made it clear to the commissioners that they would only approve the money if it were put in its existing location. And again, I think the council listened to the people out in the location of Fuzzy's building, that housing area, and listened, and no matter what, you make the best choice for your constituents and you vote. And certainly we've had many roll call votes on that over the years.
Okay.
But it's frustrating. I share the frustrations that Mike said earlier. If we had initially, gone out and built the most efficient building, we could have saved lots of money, had a large building, and now we're just, we're going to spend a lot more money per square feet and not have what we would have had we just agreed to begin with.
Okay. Well, the big news of the day, and probably heard about, Stant's considering, they're in negotiations with the state of Michigan to move their world headquarters out of Connersville to that state. So looking at that, does the city of Connersville, Fayette County, hope to compete with some of these other locations that are better funded on their economic development group or corporation, whatever they call it, in attracting businesses? How can the county hope to keep those businesses that are already here when some of that money is being diverted to other uses?
I just heard this evening, so I've not really learned all of the facts. One of the first decisions that the council made after I joined in 2011 was a similar situation. Stant came to the economic development group, or in addition to the county and the city, and said, listen, we're considering moving our headquarters. Not only that, moving our whole operation at that point in time. Stant had lost many jobs, in the past, and when I worked there, and it goes way back when I worked there, but anyhow, they had already lost many jobs, and certainly maybe conditions threatened the balance of the jobs. And that was really a low blow to everyone who even considered it. And I think everyone came together from the county and the city, and I think Jim Wolf mentioned earlier, $450,000 from the county rainy day fund, $450,000 from the city. Urban Enterprise Zone and Economic Development Group also chipped in money. money that was set aside for certainly other things than to pay business to stay in this community. But we felt like we just couldn't afford at that point in time to lose any more jobs, and that it was a worthwhile investment. I think hindsight, maybe it wasn't the best investment in our hard-earned taxpayers' money. But again, if they're considering it, I guess, having been an employee at Stant, having also been involved in the kind of decisions where you have to always be looking for what's best for the shareholders, what's best for the business owners. If in fact that they were in an environment where they couldn't make money, or that they couldn't find the employees they need. But I don't believe that's the case. I think that for many years, 100 years, they've found excellent employees here in Fayette County, and I think they would continue to find that. You might not have the same resources or opportunities to deliver your parts to the automotive world in Michigan, but I believe just in time they can be delivered in about 5 hours from Connersville. I'm hoping that we can come together. Like Jim says, I think we would have to call upon the state and the federal governments to help, keep them, come up with an incentive to keep them here again in Connersville and Fayette County. We value their business, we value the jobs that they provide, and I'd hate to have to do without. Part of what I alluded to earlier, we've got to change the tax structure. We've got to change the way we motivate businesses to stay in this country, in this community, so they wouldn't be prone to taking the best offer to picking up and moving. Really, we need to make some changes here. We'll tough it out here at the local, and hope that we can get help from the state and even federal governments to keep them here.
Thank you. Well, one last chance to look at the camera and say why they should vote for you.
Well, again, my name is Shirley Wise, and I would appreciate your vote in the upcoming election. I will continue to work with county and city officials to help search out new businesses and to help encourage existing businesses, including agribusiness, grain for biofuels, fertilizer, etc. I would again like to paraphrase a quote from Plato. Our silence gives consent. So I encourage you to please get involved. Make your voices heard. Please remember to make the wise choice and vote Republican on November the 4th. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. Shirley Wise, incumbent Republican Fayette County Councilwoman, District 3. And again, Charlene Grugowski, the Democratic candidate for that position, had to be called out of town this morning for a family emergency and could not be here with us tonight. And we will be back in just a moment with candidates for Fayette County School Board, District 4. And we're back with candidates for the Fayette County School Board, District 4. We have tonight challengers for that position, Ann Kirshner and Jason Ruff. David Jones is not here tonight. If you would give an opening statement, please, and let's see, I think we went that direction before, so we'll go this direction to start things off. Ann, if you would just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Ann Kirshner. I've lived in Connersville for about 30 years. I'm originally from Rensselaer, Indiana, which is up in the northwest part of the state. I graduated from St. Joseph's College with a bachelor's degree in 1971. I moved to Florida, collected 3 children and a husband, and also a law degree from Stetson University College of Law in 1981. I moved to Connersville in 1985 and was employed by the Fayette County School Corporation as a middle school teacher from 1985 till my retirement in 2010. In 2013, I was honored to be named a member of the Fayette County Schools Hall of Fame. I've been very active in child-centered activities, volunteered at the Boys and Girls Club. I've been down at the baseball field more hours than I would care to think about. And this evening, I'm here after having done a middle school football game. I'm still very active with the middle school athletics where I spent my time. Very interested in the children of Fayette County and hope to make the school board a better place, the school corporation a better place for everyone in Fayette County, students and parents alike.
Thank you. Jason.
I'm Jason Ruff. I've lived all my 33 years here in Fayette County. I graduated from Connersville High School in '99. I had Mrs. Kirshner in 7th grade. She's my homeroom teacher. I farm with my father and my uncle out in the Everton area. I also help my father run his family business he's had for 33 years, Russ Farm Equipment Repair. I joined that in 2001 after graduating from the University of Northwestern Ohio with an associate's degree in ag diesel mechanics. And I got a 2-year-old daughter, 7-year-old daughter. It's in 2nd grade. She attends Everton. I volunteer a lot in her classroom. We got a field trip coming up I'm looking forward to, so I can't wait for that. I also help out a lot with the FFA and the ag department at the high school. I coach a small engines team, several kids. We have 2 or 3 teams each year. Been doing that for 4 or 5 years. I got a middle school group of kids, 2 boys this year that we're going to try to get started early, so really looking forward to that. And I married my wife this June 28th, and we're doing great there, so about it.
Thank you. Well, a report came out this summer that the number of students in the local school corporation on free and reduced lunches is 2nd highest in the state. Given what those students face at home before they ever arrive at school, how can a school system adequately serve those students and help them achieve against students that may have all the advantages of a home life with internet and computers at home? And Jason, it'll be your turn to go first.
Well, the main thing is having the teachers, the staff, and everything at the school just being there for the student, understanding the student, knowing what their background is, what they don't have, what they do have, making it accessible for them. If they don't have it, a home computer, access to the internet or anything, trying to make some time through the day to let them, get that at school. It's just, understanding what the student is and doesn't have, and being there for them to provide it.
Thank you. Ann.
I think there's some complex problems with this. Teachers have always been in what we call in loco parentis. They've always taken the parent's role for a particular part of the day. When you have students with the needs that the students in Fayette County have, that takes on a whole nother aspect. I think the biggest thing that we need to do is we need to evaluate where we spend our money in the Fayette County School Corporation. We have a lot of very essential needs, and children learn best in smaller groups with more one-on-one. And I think it's essential that we put more people in the classrooms because we have more children with more problems. And we have to try to interact with them effectively, get their trust, to make them feel comfortable in a learning situation. And I think that's the only way we can achieve the goals that we want to do to have our children well educated. Spending money directly on the children as opposed to spending money on other programs which look very good on paper but may not impact the children directly.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to really get into a specific comment on the recess policy at Fayette Central School. That was a big issue right after school started. But I'd like to have you comment on the role that the school board member has in implementing changes of that kind which seem to be pretty major, particularly for the students involved. How can something like that occur and parents not be informed prior to the start of school? And
I think there's a climate in the Fayette County School Corporation right now that is not inclusive sometimes of parents as much as it needs to be. The decision at Fayette Central, I thought it was horrible that the parents weren't notified. I do not agree with the policy because I think children need to have unstructured time within the school day. But beyond that, I think it was a decision. I don't know how the school board got its information or even if it had information about this. There have been other instances where the board has been sort of notified after the fact of policies that have been implemented, and I think that's just exactly wrong. I think that the board should be aware all of the time of any policy that's going to impact the students of Fayette County and be given the information they need to make a good decision, not given half information or partial information, but given the whole picture so they can make a better decision for everyone.
thank you. Jason?
I have to agree a lot with what Ms. Kirshner says, and it's like they say, it takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a community to run a school. If there's no communication between, the administration, the school board, down, to your teachers and stuff, there ain't going to be anything. Surprises. We don't need surprises. Come home from school and what'd you do at school today? Well, we don't have recess now. It's just a simple letter sent home to the school. The parents of that school a month, 2 weeks beforehand, saying, okay, we got a policy. We're going to try this. We'll see how it works. We got this problem, or what's your input on it? Is there a way, you got a better idea we can handle this? Can we have parents come in, help us out? It's just, communication, lack of it. We've been taught all through school. We have to communicate. You got to communicate. We're not communicating. That's all it comes down to.
Okay, thank you. What are your thoughts on preschool for all students? That's been one of the talks at the state, and if it comes through the state, whoever's elected will be part of implementing that. So what are your thoughts, and how should it be done to serve the students, or how should it not be done?
Well, I still think, preschool's kind of a, leave it up to the parents. It's out there. I had my daughter in preschool. It really helped her out. I think it's a good thing to have, but it don't work for all families. There's a lot of families, that it just don't work for now. The ones that can't afford it or whatever, I know there's programs to help with that too and stuff, and that's good, but it still needs to be kind of left. I hate to see it saying you have to do this. It's that way, or no other way, but.
Okay, thank you. Ann?
I think that, and I spent most of my teaching career at the middle school, and we have students that have had problems since the very beginning. And I think in a county such as Fayette County, where we have so many needy students, availability of preschool of something that's affordable, because a lot of parents simply cannot afford to send their children to a preschool for which they have to pay. Head Start does a wonderful job, but that only hits a very small percentage of the students because of federal cutbacks, and that's a federal program. So I think offering the preschool program to parents at no cost, which it would be if it came through the school corporation, would be a real benefit to a lot of these youngsters who, for whatever reason, have not been able to have, they're not there when they start to kindergarten. They don't have the basic skills that some of their peers have, and I think this puts them at a disadvantage at the very beginning. And I believe honestly that most parents would go along with this kind of program if it was not costly. I think cost is a huge issue for preschool education, and if it's free, just as the rest of the education is, I think most parents would take advantage of it, and it would be really, really good for the children of Fayette County.
Okay, thank you. Now you have one last chance to look at the cameras and say, vote for me. So Ann, if you would do that, please.
I've been a resident here for about 30 years. I've been very passionate about my students I was glad to see Jason, not in 7th grade, and I haven't seen him probably since he was in 7th grade, but I'm really interested in the welfare of all the students of Fayette County, and I think as a member of the school board, I would stand up. I've been very outspoken all of my teaching career, and I really love what I do. And I retired sort of, but I substitute almost every day. And I really enjoy my interaction with the students and with the teachers, and I think I could bring a perspective to the board that's very much needed to open up the communication between the teachers and the parents and the children, and make it a more cooperative effort for everyone in Fayette County and as a benefit to everyone in the schools.
Thank you. Jason.
Excuse me. I think the biggest thing I'd like to help out, bring back to the school is, get the community involved more, open up the communications, where, things are communicated better to where everybody knows what's going on before it starts going on, and it's just getting involved, getting the community involved, teachers, everybody, getting everybody back to where, like when I was in school, there's a lot more involvement in the school that I see now. I was at a PTO meeting, there was only 8 people there and 3 of them was staff, and it's just try to find ways to, help the community, help the teachers, help the people that's working with the school, feel more comfortable with talking about issues and stuff. Right now it's kind of hush mouth, afraid to say anything, we hate to lose our job over this or that. So it's just being there for the people of the school, of the community, and the students and everybody.
Thank you, Jason. Our candidates for Fayette County School Board District 4. I might mention candidates for County Council District 4. Neither Jim Reese nor Mark Nobby attended tonight. So we thank all the candidates, both tonight and last night, for their comments. I hope that helps the voters decide as they go to the polls to cast their ballot either on Election Day, November 4th, or maybe taking opportunities of one of the early voting opportunities that are available at the Fayette County Government Center. And remember, the last day to register to vote, to be eligible to vote for the November 4th election is October 6th. You can watch the debates or the forums, whatever you want to consider these, that we've had the last 2 nights on the Channel 3 YouTube site. That's www.youtube.com, local TV 3. So you want to make sure, maybe, did they really say that? So that's a good way to check up on that, or check localtv3.com. Well, on behalf of Connersville City TV Channel 3, I'm Daryl Smith of the Connersville News-Examiner, wishing you a good night and good luck to all the candidates.